colorful jeongbyun. Jeongbyun are dyed with various colors to make today's dish 색밀쌈. Festive colors and a mysteriousness. The beauty of Korean cooking can be seen. 색밀쌈 is excellent for appetizers or main dishes. They are splendid for buffets and special occasions. The natural colors in Korean food. How are these colors made? Find out the ingredients that make these colors and how to make them. Shall we learn how to make today's special 색밀쌈 on More Than Kimchi?
안녕하세요. Hello everyone, I'm Jung Ha-young, your host for More Than Kimchi. Do you remember the first dish we made called 구절판? Well, today's dish, 색밀쌈, which is colored beef and vegetable wraps, is a variation that adds color to the crepes and is wrapped in advance, making it a perfect festive party food. Before I go any further, let's say hello to our cooking instructor, Mrs. 이동순. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
오늘도 잘 부탁드리겠습니다.
네.
We are also happy to have Melanie Billings-Yoon as our guest today. Hello, Melanie.
Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. I remember very well that 구절판 was the first
Yes,
dish we
that's
made
right.
together.
Yeah.
And now I'm terrified because this looks much more complicated than 구절판.
Well, it's supposed to be simpler, so let's find out.
All right.
Shall we take a look at the ingredients first? So for crepes, of course, we are using flowers, but for coloring, I mentioned that it's a colored crepes. We're going to use spinach for green, orange color with the carrot, and then red color with the dry berries called omija, and then yellow color, which is chija. It's dried sea pods called chija, which is a yellow color. So with those ingredients, we have these 5 different colors we're going to use for crepes. And then for filling, we have 표고버섯, which is shiitake mushrooms, and beef, and zucchini, and we'll have egg and 2 colors of eggs, white and yellow. And for garnish, we will use pine nuts. And later, after we make the crepes, we're going to make a bundle and tie with the green onions. So we'll use green onions as a ties. And then let's take a look at the seasonings that we're going to use. For seasoning the beef, we are using soy sauce, sugar, sesame oil, sesame seeds, chopped green onions and garlic, and black pepper. Later, we're going to use salt to sprinkle a little bit with the spinach, also vegetable oil to make the crepes. Shall we start now, Mrs.
네.
Lee? So what shall we start
네,
first?
색깔 내는 거를요. 먼저 시금치를 제가 데치고 우리 멜라니께서 거기에 그 당근을 좀 갈아주시겠어요?
Yeah. So I introduced you, there are 4 ingredients we are using for coloring. So Mrs. Lee will start with the spinach, and then Melanie, your job's going to be a carrot to make orange color. So this is going to be fun. So you have the grater there.
Here.
And shall I pass you this spinach over here? So for green color, we are using spinach. And the carrot, that would be the orange color.
Now, in Italian cooking nowadays, we do a lot of this. You can make spinach pasta or tomato pasta. We use different ingredients. I
Yeah.
think even squid ink.
That's right,
they
yes,
use.
yeah.
But could you, in a pinch, use food coloring?
I think so, definitely. I mean, when you're in a hurry, if it's the purpose only for the coloring, of course you can use coloring, you know, that's store-bought. But also, using those natural ingredients is always, it's a nice to, I think it makes you feel better too. And here, Mrs. Lee is boiling the spinach. But when you boil spinach, make sure you use salt boiling water. That's important. 그렇죠, 선생님? And this is just a parboiling. You don't want to boil too long. After you parboil, which is about a minute. And then you rinse in cold water. And then that is for the green color, as you can see. And here what Mrs. Lee is doing after boiled, parboiled, is you have to use the blender to puree it. That's very important. There. So after you puree, of course, we have to strain it because we only want the juice. The green
Now,
juice.
I
Yes.
did notice she didn't strain that liquid out. That's a very liquidy spinach over
Right,
there.
yes, yes.
Okay.
But you did rinse. She did rinse in cold water.
She rinsed it in cold water, but then picked it up with the water still on
Yes,
it.
yeah.
All right.
So that way you preserve the bright green color. So it's important to dip it in a cold water.
자, 이렇게 체에다가 저 당근도 해주신 당근에 약간 물을 조금 넣어서요. 좀 해주세요.
또 같은 방법으로 할까요?
같은 방법으로.
So what we need to do is, as she's doing, you will do the same thing with your carrot. So
Okay.
you get your bowl over there, and since carrot, the consistency is not, it's kind of dry compared to spinach, you can add a little bit of water here. So would you like to put a little bit of water here? There. And then we'll use a strainer just to get the carrot juice.
So we're just trying to get the color really out of this.
Yes, that's right. So here green is ready and the orange is ready. As I showed you before with the batter, we have here orange batter and then the green batter. And shall I pass you over this? And then we need to prepare the red color and the yellow, which we are using. 오미자, dried, these berries are called 오미자. And those dried sea pods are 치장, which we use the yellow color. 여기다 뜨거운 물을 부어야 되나요?
그냥
아니,
아니요.
보통 물을
예,
하면
예.
되나요?
예.
And the way you get those color is you soak them in water for a while, and then the color will seep out from those dry berries and those sea pods. These also, after about 2 or 3 hours soaking it, you use strainer to get the just, clean color like this. So colors are all ready. Now we need to make the batters. There.
하고요.
Right.
그다음에 그쪽에 볼을 2개를 준비를 하셔가지고
Yeah.
밀가루 5개를 나눌게요.
Oh, okay, let's do that. So we need 5 different colors. One is plain flour. The rest of 4 colors are what we just prepared. So here Mrs. Lee has 3 bowls. Well, let's get those 2 bowls for 2 colors. And then we'll put the flour. You can divide them equally on 2 bowls.
All right.
So about half a cup of flours on each bowls.
자, 여기다가 물을 넣으면서 이렇게 저어주세요.
Yeah. So you're first putting water. You put the water and mix it. Here's yours. And then if
자,
you,
요거를 한번 해주시겠어요?
so she will use the plain color. Just water will make just a plain flour, white crepes. And I'll put the orange color.
So you're looking for about an equal amount of water?
Equal amount of water. And these, if you don't have half cup, you can add a little bit of water to make about half cup. So here Mrs. Lee makes green color, white color, and later she will this yellow. And she just put the more green juice. So that's how you will do it. If you want a little bit brighter or darker color, add a little bit more of those colors we prepared. There. So can I pass this to you over there? So batters are almost ready. We have 5 different colors of batter. We have red, which is, I guess, pink. And we have green over here, and white, and yellow.
Really
yellow.
bright yellow.
Very nice color. So we finished with the crepes. The next step we're going to do is preparing those vegetable and beef. So first we will do with the zucchini. Zucchini is called 호박.
호박.
호박 can be pumpkin. 호박 can be zucchini.
Oh, it's squash.
Yeah, it's squash. Squash family is all 호박, right? Okay, it's your job over here. So with the zucchini, what you're going to do is you need to make a thin slice and make strips. But we'll first see what Mrs. Lee is doing.
껍질 쪽만 쓸게요. 이렇게. 예.
And you're going to use just the outer layer because that's what the green and the crispy texture is over there. So when you use zucchini, you want to use only the outer layer. Let me just show it to our viewers. And then what we need to do is cut them into very thin strips. These will be the filling of the crepes.
자, 그렇게
Yeah.
하고 고기하고 표고버섯하고
Yeah.
채
So mainly we will have zucchini strips, and then the 표고버섯, which is shiitake mushrooms, and then beef and egg. That will be the fillings for these crepes.
So I cut them along
Yes,
like
cut
this?
them as strips. So here we have 표고버섯, shiitake mushrooms, and then we have zucchini. And if you can take a look at the way Mrs. Lee does with shiitake mushrooms, she also make it kind of thinner the first time. If you do this way and then cut it, you can make it a lot neater, thin strips, Melanie. But
I didn't actually catch what she did, but I'll watch more than kimchi and I'll find out.
here, the ones you cut it, if you can put them over here. And what we will do with the zucchini is we sprinkle with salt and let it sit for a while.
To pull out the liquid?
Yes, pull out the liquid and makes it always, the texture a little bit crunchier by doing it. So a little bit of salt sprinkled, and I'll put it down over here. So here we have 표고버섯, shiitake mushroom, and beef. The next step is making the seasonings.
I bet I know what the seasoning is going to be.
Beef seasoning, the 불고기 양념, soy sauce, 간장, and then sugar, 설탕, and chopped onions and garlic, sesame seeds and sesame oil. So these are real basic, the 불고기 seasoning, a little bit of black pepper. So there. So while Melanie, I am, squeeze out the liquid, Mrs. Lee is mixing the seasoning we just made. So beef seasoning, beef, and 표고버섯, the shiitake mushroom together. So here, zucchini is ready, wilted by sprinkling salt, and then squeeze out the extra liquid. While we are doing it, Mrs. Lee mixed those beef seasoning with the beef, and then the shiitake mushroom together. So that's one thing. We like to, season those things together because it does take same kind of seasoning. And sometimes you can even cook together.
You season them together, but you keep them a little separate in
The
the
same
dish.
seasoning, the
I
same
see.
kind of seasoning. So let's turn it on. So what we will do next step is stir fry it. That makes it the texture a lot crunchier, especially with the zucchini. So we put a little bit of oil.
And you want a high heat now?
Yes, high heat. That way you don't have to cook too long, just very crisp. It's like Chinese stir frying too. You want high heat, very, very short time. The pan gets hot.
Yeah, it's getting
Okay.
there.
There. Then you put it there, and then we'll stir fry. So stir frying the 표고버섯, which is the shiitake mushroom, and beef, and then zucchini over here. So here is the shiitake mushroom stir fried about a minute or so, high heat. And then Mrs. Lee will do the beef.
Oh, these are picking up a beautiful, vibrant green as they cook.
That's right, and that's one thing. You don't want to cook too long, and you want to make it in a very bright color. I turn off your stove here. So 이걸 다 같은 데 넣을까요? Yeah. What we will do is we'll put the fillings together. So here is the shiitake mushrooms, and then we have zucchini, which is ho박 in Korean. These been sprinkled in some salt. Let it sit for a while and squeeze out the excess liquid, and then stir fry it about a minute. So put it back there. So with beef too, it's important to cook on a high heat. That way, the liquid evaporates, so it doesn't get soggy. It's very important because these are the fillings of crepes. You don't want any liquid with any ingredients. There. So the next one we need to do is the eggs.
네, 계란 지단을
Yeah.
좀 채를 쳐야 되는데. 자, 이건 노른자를 한번.
Yeah.
네.
So with egg crepes, we have two colors, yellow and the white we already cooked, and I'll let you cut it.
Do you want me to cut this in
Yeah.
half first? Or?
Cut them in half. Let's first take a look at what Mrs. Lee does.
She cut it to about a third.
Basically, what's important is you want to make all the ingredients to a same shape, same form. So here we have the beef, zucchini, and then the 표고버섯, shiitake mushroom. You want to do the same thing. So here's egg white, and then egg yolk that Melanie did over here. What a nice color here. 5 different colors. The next step we're going to do is right. So before I introduce you the green onion, this we're going to use it as a tie.
자, 이것도 마찬가지로 소금 좀 넣고요.
As you did with the spinach, you sprinkle a little bit of salt in boiling water, and then put the green onions.
The whole thing.
Whole
just
thing,
like that.
because you don't want to cut it too short because you are using it as ties. So this again, you don't have to boil for too long. You just want to make it softer.
So it'll actually tie
yes,
up.
you can actually use it as a string. And then dip it in cold water. Again, same as we did with the zucchini and the spinach.
일단 물을 이렇게 짜주세요.
Only this time she
Squeeze
rinses
out the
it out.
water.
Yeah.
We will be using that as a strings.
자, 먼저 잘 섞고요.
So you mix the batter.
자,
Put
그다음에
about 1
한
tablespoon.
여기다 한꺼번에 넣으세요. 한꺼번에.
Or you pour it all at once, Melanie.
자, 그다음에 이렇게 돌리세요.
And then with your backup spoon, make a very round, nice shape. That's it.
Yes.
And then
I
about
agree.
a half second. And then here's a skewer. You will use skewer. So you can see here the top is dry, the batter is cooked, and then you use skewer. you lift it and turn it over. There. Now we need to prepare the strings with the green onions. And here maybe we can give a little bit to Melanie. Here. And here again we'll follow what Mrs. Lee is doing. So, you know, some of the green onions are thicker. If you use chives, you don't have any problem. But when you are using green onions, you can also divide them to a smaller size. Yeah, you just tear it apart. That's good. So that way it can be thinner. So you put all the ingredients there. So beef and 표고버섯, shiitake mushrooms, and zucchini strips, egg strips, and then pine nuts. And then you roll it, you wrap it. Okay? Oops. And then you use the green onion
The whole
string.
onion.
Yes.
And wrap it around.
And that
and
way
around.
you also can enjoy the nice flavor of green onion, which is, you know, it's nice tangy flavor. And then at the end, you just put the end of the, where's my toothpick? Yeah. The end of the string, end of the green onion, you just push it in to the other rolls there.
One thing that is very clear about
Yes.
Korean food as we learn it, that it really is the art of perfection.
Yes, yes. The presentation is always very nice. And it's particularly this one. You would really like the result, Melanie. Even though it does take time and a little bit of practice that's required.
That's all right. Best
Yes,
things take a
yes.
while to learn.
That's true. Nothing's that easy. There.
자,
Yeah,
이렇게 해서
yeah.
이렇게
하기도 하고요.
하고요.
Yeah.
옆에를 썰기도
Right.
하거든요.
Then she would like to show you there are two ways of serving this. One is you cut it and then make it a one round ball. That's very pretty. But I don't think I want to waste it. They are so good and pretty. I can pass
The
this.
cook gets to eat the little
Yes.
bits that are left over.
So this is 색밀쌈 that we prepared. How do you like today's recipe?
Well, I do think it's beautiful, and it is like making Easter eggs. It's festive
Yeah.
and it's lovely, but I need to work on the
Work on the
pancakes for a while.
No, I think you just get a crepe pan. I guarantee once you get a good pan, it's going to be very easy. So this is a 색밀쌈 we just finished. Shall we take a look at the cooking procedure now?
The beauty of food is in its shape and color. One characteristic of Korean food is that natural foods are used to make color. The omija fruit is usually used to make a red color. It is soaked in water to make the color seep out. For a darker brown color, jujubes are used. Jujubes are boiled in water for about 3 hours. When boiled that way, they soften and a thick brown color forms. The boiled water can also be served as tea. It has a unique scent and nice taste. Jichi is another ingredient used for making a red color. Jichi is usually used in Oriental medicine. Because it is oily, it must be heated to produce the red color. Jichi is sometimes used instead of cooking oil. It is used to give a light red color to rice cakes and other food. Rice powder is kneaded in warm water, and round flat shapes are made. It is fried in jichi oil to make gontok, rice cakes. The red color seeps in. It is sprinkled with sugar before eaten. Mugwort and sungumcho are used for a green color. These ingredients are also used a lot in Oriental medicine. They are grinded and used in a powder form. Mugwort powder is used for making green songpyeon. Before making the dough, the rice powder is mixed with mugwort powder. The colors of Korean food are very distinct, and a lighter pastel tone is preferred to give it a natural look. Mugwort is used for songpyeon, and for dumplings, sungumcho is used. For a black color, sogi mushrooms and black sesame are used. Again, the color is not a dark black, but closer to a gray color. Sogi mushrooms and sesame seeds are ground in a mortar. Because sogi mushrooms are very dry, they make a fine powder. Fine sogi mushroom powder is mixed with rice powder to make delicious-looking sogi songpyeon. The chija fruit has a very bright and beautiful yellow color. The color comes from the small seed inside. Like omija, it is soaked in water to let the color seep out. Sometimes, pumpkins are used for a yellow color. When a fully ripened pumpkin is steamed, a nice yellow color is produced. Among Korean food, rice cakes and crepes require many colors. Natural foods are mixed with flour or rice powder to make beautiful hues. Adding natural foods also has an effect of supplementing nutrition. When dough is made with rice powder and chicha coloring, a yellow chicha songpyeon can be made. As such, colors can be made by soaking ingredients in water, grinding them into a powder, steaming them, or boiling them. Adding various natural colors to food results in food that looks too good to eat. Korean foods have always used natural coloring. The combination of main ingredients and other natural ingredients create a beautiful and natural color.
Now is the best part of the program. We get to taste the 색밀쌈 now. But although they are too pretty to eat.
They are
Yeah,
definitely,
isn't that
in
nice?
fact, I think, well, by far, this is the most beautiful dish we've ever prepared, and I think it's one of the most beautiful dishes I've ever seen.
Yeah, quite lovely. And here, usually, we introduce this as an appetizer. So I have a little bit of rice wine. Oops.
Oh, good.
Our teacher first, Mrs. Lee. See, you shouldn't forget in Korea, you respect your teacher first. And then our guest, Melanie.
Now, you're not ever supposed to pour your own
That's
wine.
right. Would
so
you like
I'll
to do that?
for you.
Okay. Here's a
you
chomha
go.
rice wine we're going to have. There. 선생님 먼저 시작하시죠.
노란 색깔의 옐로요.
That's chija, yellow color. The yellow is
yeah.
really nice.
That's omija.
That's omija, the red color. And then I will have green, the spinach one.
All right, and do we put the sauce on it, or just
Here,
eat it
yeah,
as it is?
we didn't introduce any sauce while we are cooking. 근데 간장도 쓰지, 선생님?
근데 이제 이렇게 에피타이저로 할 때는 이제 그냥 드시고 이제 메인 요리 같은 거 할 때는 초간장이나 겨자 소스 이렇게 찍어서 드세요.
So, when you serve it as appetizer, you don't really need any sauce. But if you like, sometimes you can use vinegar soy sauce or mustard sauce.
Okay.
That's a very nice. So go ahead.
Well, I'm really looking forward to trying this. The onion gives it a little snap. Oh, and I can really taste that pine nut.
That's great.
It's like a little surprise inside. Wonderful. Well, can I have another one? Is that allowed?
Definitely. You get to finish it all, and we
I'd
have
like to
more
try
at
one
the
of
back.
these yellow ones. Now, maybe I'll try it this time with a little bit of the sauce.
Yes, here. This is vinegar soy sauce, and as I mentioned, we make vinegar mustard sauce, and that goes very well too.
And you just lap a little of this
little
over
bit.
like that. You know, when I tasted that pine nut in the middle, I was reminded of some European foods where they place a pine nut inside as a little surprise. So even though in many ways this seems so different, food is always something that kind of brings us together as well.
Definitely. You sit together and enjoy the conversation, also the food. That's a good way. 그래서 이거를 다른 방법으로 어떻게 하는 방법도 있을까요, 선생님? 이렇게 하는 대신에?
예를 들어서 이렇게 넓게 크게 싸가지고 이렇게 말아서 잘라서 넣는
그것도 한
방법도 있어요.
방법이군요. Yeah. You know, Melanie, before, you know, we were having hard time making small crepes. But also you could make a large crepes, make a long, you know, rolls, and then you cut them and
Like
serve
you
that
did the
way.
last one. You cut the ends off.
Yeah.
And I noticed when you did that, you put it up on its end, so you see the filling.
Yeah,
Well, that
that's
was
one,
cute
yeah,
too.
That's one way. It probably takes less time, and it's a little easier to make it. Yeah.
I'll try that at my next party.
So today we made a 색밀쌈, beef and vegetables wrapped in festive crepes. As you can see, it makes an excellent appetizer. So why don't you prepare it for your next party and enjoy the culture of Korean cuisine. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. 안녕히 계세요.